Welcome to Everyday Cooking with Ann. Today we're doing another part of our thread for breakfast and brunch items that you might like to make for any occasion. And today we're making lemon ricotta pancakes. And maybe you were asking, what are lemon ricotta pancakes? It uses ricotta cheese. So let's come down and look at all of our ingredients that are going to go into this recipe. Ricotta cheese is one of the main ingredients that's different than anything else you will put in. We're going to have 3 eggs, a cup of milk, a quarter cup of lemon juice because these are lemon pancakes, along with some lemon zest. We'll be putting melted butter in, as well as sugar, salt, baking powder, and baking soda. All of these things help make this dough rise really wonderfully. And also we will add into our wet ingredients a teaspoon of vanilla too. That is the ricotta cheese right here in this bowl. I'm just showing you what it looks like if you want to buy it at the store. And I've already put 1.5 cups of flour into my bowl. And let's get started. I'm going to add the dry ingredients first. We are going to have 2 teaspoons, and that sounds like a lot, but when you're doing pancakes, you use a lot of baking soda. And so in this recipe, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1/2 a teaspoon of salt. We need that 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powder, but baking soda, because we're going to be putting the lemon juice in there, and that's going to make it kind of explode and rise. We have also about 3.5 tablespoons of sugar, which we're going to need in here, and so we're going to mix all of these ingredients together in our bowl. Now we're going to put together the wet ingredients. We have 3 whole large eggs, I've got these at room temperature as well. And I'm going to beat these. With my wire whisk here. We're going to add a cup of milk. And we are also going to add the ricotta cheese. This is what it looks like when you take it out. So this is 3/4 of a cup of the ricotta cheese. I'm going to mix this into our dried ingredients until it kind of combines into our egg milk mixture. I'm going to add a teaspoon of, eyeballing it, of vanilla. That's real vanilla, the real deal, not imitation. You want to always put the most fresh ingredients in everything you make, or don't make it at all. That's my opinion. And we're also adding a 1/4 cup. That's quite a lot, but these are lemon ricotta pancakes. So we're going to add the lemon juice in here too. And up to 1 to 2 tablespoons of zest. That you can make this with a zester, really easy. I use a zester all the time. I probably should show you what that looks like. But I'm just going to go ahead and take a couple of tablespoons of this and just put this in here. Because I actually like real bold flavors in all my food. So I always put plenty of spices, plenty of flavoring in the food so that you can actually taste them. Okay, at this point right now, one of the techniques for making really great pancakes and waffles is that you want your dry ingredients put together first, and then you're going to add your wet ingredients and just barely kind of fold them into the batter to make this batter. You don't want to be beating it because you want pancakes and waffle batter to be a little bit lumpy. You want it combined thoroughly. That's why I'm using my wire whisk to kind of combine this. You want to make sure the flour is all combined in with the batter. Oh, by the way, I did forget one thing here. My butter. That's 2 to 3 tablespoons of melted butter. That's going to keep them from sticking and also give it really yummy flavor. Now this is kind of thick at the moment. We may add a little bit more milk in a little bit, but I'm gonna let this sit for maybe 5 minutes so that it has time to kind of ferment. I'm probably gonna add a little bit more milk in there because this is kind of thick in my opinion for making into a pancake. So I'm gonna add a little bit more milk. I'm gonna let this ferment for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll bake them up and show you how they work with our great blueberry and buttermilk syrup. One of the most amazing syrups you can make to put on anything, cakes, pancakes, waffles, whatever, is called buttermilk syrup, and I'm going to teach you how to make that today. It's so delicious. I have in my pan, I have here 1.5 cups of white sugar in my pan, and I'm going to add all of these ingredients at once. I have a 3/4 cup of buttermilk, main ingredient in buttermilk syrup. I have a cube of butter. I'm going to get this heating up right now as we speak. I'm putting in also 2 tablespoons of Caro syrup. And another main ingredient here is a teaspoon of baking soda. Mix these all together, and you want to put it right on low because you want to meld all of these ingredients together, and you're going to cook this for 7 minutes. So we'll be back in a few minutes to see what it looks like. Whole 1/2 cube of butter. The buttermilk and the butter together, yum. At the very end we'll be adding some vanilla as well, but we're going to wait for the 7 minutes to keep up for this to kind of meld together and melt together. Soda added to this, that your mixture is going to rise dramatically and be very fluffy. So you need to have this in a larger saucepan. I started out with a smaller saucepan, and I could see that it was going to overflow, so I moved it to this other bigger medium or medium-large saucepan here, and you can see how it's just about finished. It needs maybe 1 more minute, and we're ready to go. But that's what happens with the baking soda. It just balloons right up and bubbles up. So we'll be back in just a moment to show you our pancakes that we're using with the syrup. Now we're ready. This is the next step of making our pancakes. I have heated up my pan. I like to use an electric fry pan because I can control the temperature. So I put it on right now about 400. If it starts going too fast, I'll turn it down just a little bit because it's hard to regulate electric and gas heat too. So this is what we're going to do. I've got our pancake batter. This has been sitting here for probably 20 minutes while I've been making one of the other syrups that we're going to be featuring today. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a little bit at a time and just make. This makes, in the recipe, about 16 pancakes depending on the size you have. But it's the perfect consistency. I did add a little bit more milk because it seemed a little too thick to me, but I think they're perfect now. So we wait. We only want to turn them once. One of the things that makes these really fluffy pancakes is that I did not overmix these. A lot of people just overmix everything and wonder why they taste kind of not fluffy. So like I showed you in the video, you want to do the dry ingredients separate from your wet ingredients and just barely fold them together so that it creates a nice fluffy pancake. Same thing happens when you're making muffins and other things like that. When you're making pancakes, you kind of know when to turn it. If you're not familiar with making your own homemade pancakes, as soon as you've got bubbles pretty much all the way around, that's when you want to turn them. I like to put a little cut in here so the steam escapes. I know these look like ordinary pancakes, but wait till you taste the lemon and ricotta and how the flavor that you're going to get. It's going to be awesome. Here's our finished lemon ricotta pancakes. I've got several here waiting to be dished up, a couple on each plate. And the reason I'm doing that, I'm going to add a little bit of butter. Like, you don't need this. Let me just tell you, you don't need this, but knowing my husband, he'll put like a couple of cubes on here. Make sure he has plenty of butter. So a little bit of butter, and we've made 2 different kinds of syrup. Now I have my my blueberry syrup that I made for my French toast. This is what it looks like, and you could go to my blueberry French toast video to get the recipe for this. But lemon and blueberry are an amazing combination, by the way. So you're going to want to do this. So you just put a little bit of this on. You guys know me already by now that whipped cream is my favorite food, so I would put whipped cream on top of that. That's what I would do. And here's our other syrup that we're going to feature today, which is a buttermilk syrup. The recipe will be below. And this only takes a few minutes to make. And I will go ahead and put a little bit of buttermilk syrup on here, and it's just amazing, the flavor. You can use maple syrup too, and I've already shown a video how I make my own homemade maple syrup. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new about how to make great pancakes. I think the technique I showed you, you could use any pancake recipe, whether it's whole wheat or regular flour or anything. So enjoy the new lemon ricotta pancakes. It's something different and unique. You can serve at your next brunch or your next affair.